Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's City Council meeting, Monday, September 16, 2024. At this time, I'd ask Chandra to read the roll call, please.
Councilman Clay?
Here.
Councilman Hughes? Here. Councilman Clunt?
Here.
Councilman Miners?
Present.
Councilman Schuyler?
Present.
Councilman Shaheen?
Here.
And if you'd all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would ask if there are any conflicts of interest for tonight's meeting that need to be declared. Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. I don't know if you want me to fill in the names or for the public.
Yes, please.
Okay, number 3, accept the resignation of Chandra Phillips in the Finance Department. Number 5, amend the wages of Jack Peters in the Electric Department to step 2 lineman at $26.66 an hour. And accept the resignation of Lauren Larvey in the Police Department.
And do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Councilman Hughes. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Carries. On to tonight's agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to amend by removing executive session number 1.
Does that require any support, Mr. Attorney? No, okay. Okay, and then that amendment has been recognized. Now, do we have a motion on the agenda?
I will make that motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Okay, second by Miners to accept the agenda with the amendment. All in favor
Mr.
say aye.
Mayor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Item number 3 under new business, if we could change that it would be the mayor, have the mayor sign all closing papers rather than the finance officer.
Item 3 under new business. Okay. That will read, approve the sale of the surplus lots and have the mayor sign closing papers.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make my amendment to reflect the mayor instead of finance officer.
Very good. And does the second acknowledge that?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second with the amendment of item number 3 under new business. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. At this time, we have a 10-minute window for any member of the public that would like to address the council. If you would like to, please approach the podium. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 2. Do I have this proclamation?
Did you print it?
I do not.
Oh,
It's in the packet.
How far in?
you can even enlarge it if you need to.
At this time, we'll have an executive proclamation. Whereas direct support professionals are the primary providers of publicly funded long-term services and supports for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And whereas direct support professionals provide essential supports for individuals with disabilities to be active members of their communities and stay connected with family and friends. And whereas direct support professionals support individuals with disabilities to achieve integrated employment and careers in their communities. And whereas there are nearly 54 direct support professionals working for Community Connections of Winter, South Dakota. And whereas Communities are strengthened and enriched by the inclusion of all members of society, including people with disabilities. And whereas Direct Support Professionals Week is an opportunity to recognize the dedicated, devoted, and compassionate workers who support individuals with disabilities, and to thank them for their service to the City of Winter residents with disabilities and their families. Now therefore, I, Bradley Schramm, Mayor of the City of Winter, do hereby proclaim September 8 through 14, 2024 as Direct Support Professionals Recognition Week, in witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the City of Winter, South Dakota, this 16th day of September, 2024. We do thank Direct Support Professionals for all your hard work. Okay, that's in here somewhere. I don't have it. Oh, yeah, I do. Had it all the time.
Just hiding it, weren't you?
Right. Dan, at least I won't have to bend over so far this time. Good thing you didn't send little Penny again. Oh, here we are. I can't smile much longer. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. I'm glad to give you that. Okay, very good. Thank you for your work, man. Yep. Okay. Try to get back around the chairs. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we'll ask the finance officer to report any new hires that we have in the city.
There was one new hire for the previous 2 weeks. That was Ted Smith at $23.41 per hour in the Corrections Department as a part-time certified LEO transport officer with 6-month probation and no benefits.
Very good, thank you. And at this time, we'd ask the Public Safety Commissioner, Mitch Miller, to give us his report, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council people. I have handed out a 2-page report, and on the back of the second page is some additional information that we will go over. So the first thing we're going to talk about this evening is from the corrections report, and you can see today's count is 160 inmates. The month average is 160 as well, and the year average is 156. Activity, and I'm not going to go specifically through those 3 lines. You can see what they were doing with the movements of these individuals. There was 2 different provider visits, and what that means is a physician or a PA or that caliber person comes into our system, and they saw 22 different inmates. And you can see mental health is definitely an important aspect of the resources that we are reaching out for. You can see the billing, the finance part of that. We billed out for $396,000 and I guess 210, so $396,210, and the transport bill was $13,283. That's up a little bit from the previous month, which is a good thing. This is just a little information for the City of Winter residents here. I just put a note on there that siren testing will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. So again, that's Tuesday, September 17th at 10 a.m. That will include this part of the corrections report. If you wouldn't mind turning over, please. This is the planning and zoning code enforcement report. Issued 2 building permits, and that information is included on the backside for you to reference. Second important point is there's a thing called the comprehensive plan. It has not been updated in some time, and we are making some preparation work to provide you and the city with a good comprehensive plan. In doing so, we have decided that we are going to do a public opinion survey, and that will be disseminated through Facebook, etc., how people can fill this survey out. It should be completed this week, and it will run for 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll get all the information back in and start building our case for this comprehensive plan. Dan, the code enforcement guy, worked on special assessments this week. And what that means is the billing that he did for weeds and tall grass and the fines that were not paid often in many cases, he is sending them to the county to put on their tax rolls. It's a lot of paperwork. He spent a lot of time, probably 15 hours this past week, making sure he got it right. And he said he got it completed today to get to the county auditor. He is still working on weeds and tall grass. He's working hard to find resolution to the Main Street property. Him and City Attorney Mason are working pretty diligently in trying to get a good game plan on how to be responsible to get Main Street where we would like it. So the 6th thing, he started working on property maintenance issues with large commercial and industrial zoned buildings. There are some grants out there to assist in this, and that's the focus of his work with that right now. So any questions, I guess, on either of my 2 reports, Mr. Mayor or Councilman?
Mitch?
Yes, sir.
Do you happen to know what the breakdown is from federal to county?
I sure do.
Okay,
Of the 160, it would be 130 federal
okay,
and 30 county and 0 state, so. So 130 and 30.
thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And now may we have Public Works Director Troy Kruger, please.
Hello, everyone. Kind of a busy last couple of weeks in Public Works. Water and sewer locates. We started just our fall discharge of the lagoons. Along with that, we did our sampling for those discharges. We had 3 leaks on Jefferson in one day. We had to shut down the water for a property to do some plumbing under their home, and all the valves in that street, not that very old valves, probably put in around 2005, but all the bolts in those valves were cast iron, so they were completely rusted away. So when we turned off one block, we had to leak, turned off the next block, we had another leak. So we dug all those up, fixed those. We also fixed we had the same issue out in front of the PD on 3rd Street, fixed that one. We got some sprinklers installed out on the airport property. Monthly water samples, they finished up with some stuff up at the pool, and we replaced a water hydrant down on 1st and Main that has not been working the last couple of years. Parks and Cemetery, we have received all the Bailey's project equipment, so Marty started tearing down some backstops last week. So hopefully if we get a weather cooperating fall, we can get started on that project. They've been still doing a lot of mowing, clean up after Labor Day festivities, funerals. We took some equipment off that First Street property before it sold, and we're gonna donate that to the city of Witten, I believe. They've asked several times if we ever come up with any property They have a playground down there that they would like to have that. So it's government to government. I've got a list of that property, so I'll have that available for council and we can officially surplus it. It's just down at the Parks Department shop right now. And sprinkler repairs. Just going around town, making sure those are all in all the areas of town. Making sure all the sprinklers are working before we start blowing out for the fall. Light department locates, they changed out a pole on First and Lamro. We're still finding a couple poles that we'd like to get changed out from that storm. They set a new pole for the wastewater lift station, board behind East 9th, board on Eisenhower, board on 7th, set transformer boxes on all the above. Still, we're working on a few street lights, and we took down some old overhead on the west end of town out in front of the Harry K. Body Shop. Some of our old overhead was still up there in anchors. Streets and sanitation, cleaned up after the parade and the carnival. We did a valley gutter, our miscellaneous concrete project. We've got 3 of them going right now. One is a valley gutter here over in front of Mal's Automotive on Polk Street, and we've got that. All the concrete work is done there. When our mill and overlay people come in, we'll match that up with the asphalt and get that cuted up a little bit. And then we've got the main street in front of the hardware store. That storm sewer box had collapsed on the inside, and so that lid was getting all off center. So we're in the process of pouring a new box down at the shop, and then once we get that poured and ready to go, we'll install that. Most of the concrete work around that box is completed, but we had to pour our own box. And then down on First Street where we replaced that fire hydrant, we'll replace quite a bit of sidewalk in the whole radius there. Added 10-foot of culvert to 7th Street. Our garbage trucks have been using that road, 7th Street, going out towards the recycle center, and we had a drainage issue over there, so we extended that culvert. It was all plugged up. We dug it out and redid it. Turned our contaminated dirt out at the Berry Pit. We're also continuing to work on our pits. We're running out of room out there. And we're still marking out cutouts, and so this year we've had kind of an issue finding hot mix. There's so much work on the interstate right now. Pierre, Mitchell, everybody's pouring. The mix that they're making right now has the polymer in it, which is a faster setting hot mix, and it doesn't work well for what we do because we have to transport it all the way from Pierre or Mitchell, and then we just go around town and put so much in each area, and as we move around, that hot mix, that particular product just sets up too fast. So the Pierre plant here in the next couple of weeks will be making a traditional oil mix, and so we'll be running to Pierre to get some of that, to get some of these cutouts and potholes filled up around town. I've got a lot of calls on fall cleanup, and it's October 14th through the 18th. So for the public's information. And then still have not heard from the chip seal people, but I did hear from the mill and overlay, and they're planning on the middle of October to the second or third week in October. And we still do have, I am still trying to get, there's some pretty bad sections of curb on Main Street. I'd like to get some of those replaced before the end of the year. And up there by the radio station, there's a few more areas up there that are breaking up pretty bad. So that's probably going to take us to about the end of our miscellaneous concrete money. So, any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kruger. This time we call on the Finance Officer, Chandra Phillips.
So first of all, I would like to apologize. The camera did work last week. It is not working again. I'm going to have to look into the camera because it won't keep a battery registered. So we'll continue to work on that. Dan in the Code Enforcement Office has been helping me with these cameras. Otherwise, I've been working on getting some projects closed out. The Bailey's Complex Fund was actually officially implemented today. There were some issues with our software system not allowing me to implement it so that we could pay our bills. It was implemented today. She was able to enter the information in. The check will be written tomorrow. So that's good that we were able to do that. Tomorrow at the Finance Committee, where I'm requesting to close out the outlays with those projects being officially closed out in water and sewer, and the 24/7 funds, we've allowed 6 months now for any outstanding checks to come through. They're not coming through. We're ready to close out that and determine where those funds need to go. And then special assessments, myself, the utility billing clerk, and the code enforcement officer have been working on that. You guys in the consent agenda did approve to have a public hearing at the next council meeting on October 7th. What that is it'll be a complete list of everyone who has outstanding bills with us for code enforcement from September of last year through September of this year, last week. So that will be included in that, and that will be available in my office starting tomorrow, now that you've approved that, and anyone can come in and view it. It is public information. It has parcel numbers, how much, all of that information on there. As I've mentioned in committees, I have spoken with the county, and they've spoken with the state. They do intend, if they are not paid by the first payment due in May, it will be listed as back taxes due. Special assessments are part of your taxes once it is issued to your tax roll. So in December, even if your special assessments are still not paid, but all of your other taxes are, it is still considered back taxes due. So we may see some of those because there is over $30,000 worth of special assessments that are currently due. We have received some payments. There's been almost $35,000 billed out. There were some that were waived due to a death or something like that. There were some that were paid. So there's been quite a few things that have happened with these. So, and then an insurance update. So spoke with our insurance coverage carrier last week. We added one more item to the damage list, and that was for the siren at the fire hall. They came in and they fixed it. What they thought it was turns out not right. The radio had actually been fried, so they came back, they installed the new radio. It is working, correct?
It is working.
It is working. Spoke with Adam from Frontline. He very clearly defined to both Mitch and I, absolutely, that's probably because the transformer blew down there. That's about the same time frame. He's willing to put that in writing so that we can submit it to our insurance as well. So right now, with not all bills turned in, $85,000 to $90,000 in damage with a $1,000 deductible. Otherwise, all of you, mayor and council, have received a letter, my letter of resignation. I'm going to read parts of it, try to read parts of it. It is with a heavy heart that I announce my resignation from the City of Winter, effective October 11, 2024. After much consideration, I have decided to pursue a new opportunity in the private sector. I want to express how deeply I will miss my job and the incredible people I've had the pleasure to work with. Serving the City of Winter has been a truly rewarding experience, both professionally and personally. Over the last 8.5 years, I've had the privilege of overseeing, researching, achieving compliance, and facilitating a total of 24 grants, ranging from small to large-scale projects, as well as other projects and money-saving efforts. I'm not going to read to you some of the things that I put on there, but this office has continuously sought out and implemented strategies to save funds and reallocate them to benefit various city departments, including investments in property liability insurance and achieving gold and platinum safety recognition. This year, we officially received platinum in our safety. We have never received that before. We will be honored at the annual conference in October, and that's for our loss efforts that we've put through, policies that we've implemented, the snowshoes that we've implemented, and a lot of that goes to Rhonda, who is our safety director, and we couldn't have done it without her. And this does come back and save the City of Winter money when it comes to our annual fees. None of these accomplishments would have been possible without the unwavering support and collaboration of my office staff, District 3, Helms & Associates, DGR, SBN, and other invaluable partners. I'm also thankful and grateful to the SDML and fellow finance officers and the city administrators who have supported me throughout my tenure, as well as past and current councils and mayors and other appointeds. Being a finance officer in a small town can indeed be overwhelming and exhausting, but it has also been incredibly fulfilling. Witnessing the impact of new playground equipment for children or being able to work with council to approve necessary purchases has been immensely rewarding. I'm deeply honored to have served this community for the past 8.5 years, and Winter has become my home. I have come to regard this office as a second home, as I've spent more time here and with many of you than my own family. This city feels like family, and I hope it remains that way. Please know that I am committed to ensuring a smooth transition. I am available to assist in training my successor or answering any questions to help ensure continuity and success. I want to ensure that the hard work, dedication that has been invested over the past few years is still preserved and built upon. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve you.
Thank you, Chandra. Okay, we have no bid openings, no public hearings, no Board of Adjustments. Moves us to old business. Item number 1. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for second reading, passage and approval of ordinance 1082, an ordinance setting the 2025 annual budget.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Moved by Clay, second by Clunt, for second reading for passage and approval of ordinance number 1082, an ordinance setting the 2025 annual budget. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Councilman Miners,
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes, Skylar,
Aye.
and Shaheen.
Yes.
All ayes, vote that motion carries. Item number 2. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve second reading, passage and approval of ordinance 1083, the 2024 supplemental budget to the general fund, non-departmental.
Motion by Clint, do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. Motion by Clint, second by Clay for second reading for passage and approval of ordinance number 1083, a 2024 supplemental budget to the general fund, non-departmental. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, point of information.
Yes.
From finance.
So this is $21,675 for the check that the city wrote for partially our portion of the carnival and also a portion of Zip Trips ownership to the carnival. And then the other is for 4 months worth of rent donation for economic development for the Winter Advocate, totaling $23,973.
Everybody got those numbers?
23,970, so we said.
973.
Okay, 2 different things we're paying for out of that. Okay, any other discussion or questions? This will be a roll call vote as well. Councilman Miners,
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes,
Aye.
Skylar,
Aye.
Shaheen,
Yes.
and Clay.
Yes.
All ayes, that motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 3, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to accept the resolution 2024-24, resolution approving the replat at Tripp County Water Users District.
We have a motion by Miners, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Skylar. Any discussion, please? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote. Councilman Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes,
Aye.
Skylar,
Aye.
Shaheen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
and Miners.
Yes.
That motion passes, all ayes, approving the replat at Tripp County Water Users District on First Street. Moving to new business, item number 1.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-25, resolution setting per lot mowing fee.
A motion by Skylar, do we have a second?
Yep, I'll second.
Second by Hughes. A resolution setting the per lot mowing fee. Any discussion, questions?
Mr. Mayor, point of information, either through Mason or Chandra, whoever has.
Okay,
You got the fee schedule?
I do have it up in front of me.
Okay.
The way this is written, it goes by lot size, and square feet of each lot. So any lot that is 3,750 square feet or less, it is $400 flat fee. Lots that are bigger than 3,750 square feet, but less than or equal to 9,000 square feet will be a flat fee of $500. Lots greater than 9,000 square feet, but less than 2.5 acres will be a $700 flat fee. And any lots 2.5 acres and above will be a flat fee of $1,200. Any mobile home lots will be calculated per their size at that same structure as listed above. And I guess also to note, that is by lot size. It doesn't matter the amount of grass on that lot. If your lot is that big, that's the flat fee.
It doesn't matter if it's, your buildings comprise 90% of the lot.
Correct.
What was the $700 one? 9,000 to how big?
9,000 square feet, and up to 2.5 acres.
Okay.
Or I guess technically like 2.49.
So if I have a 2.5 acre lot and my industry takes up 2.4 acres of that lot, and I was on vacation for 2 weeks and my guys didn't do a darn thing while I was gone, and we mow the strip in front of it, it's $1,200,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay. What was the fees before?
It was
Did we simplify this?
We simplified it. Before we included weed eaters, mowers, and man hours. So if you had 4 lawn mowers mowing one city lot, you'd be charged for each individual mower plus the individual, plus the weed eaters, plus the person running it.
Simplified it.
Yep.
And additionally, I would ask the ordinance committee, you guys, I know you worked on this a lot. I would assume these rates are greatly increased over a local contractor's price,
Correct.
because we're not in the lawn mowing business. And it's kind of a fine, I would assume, if the city has to come mow your property.
We don't want to come back and mow it again, is our whole purpose behind it.
I bet you won't. I bet you won't. If somebody pays $1,200, you won't be coming back. So,
We don't want to be in the lawn mowing business. This is hopefully one lot, maybe a year, we're hoping.
okay. Thank you.
any other questions, clarifications? Okay, this will also be a roll call vote. Councilman Hughes. Skylar.
Aye.
Shaheen.
Yes.
Clay.
Yes.
Miners.
Yes.
And Clunt.
Yes.
All ayes, this motion carries. Item number 2, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-26, a resolution approving to apply for the DOT TAP grant.
And is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Shaheen, second by Clunt, to approve applying for the DOT TAP grant. Any discussion, please?
Mr. Mayor, this
Go.
is a grant that the city has facilitated. You've already approved a letter of intent back in, I believe, June to do the 7th Street Shared Use Path. And for the acronym TAP stands for Transportation Alternative Program. And I believe if you wanted to look at the plans and information like that, DGR has provided them over to the Public Works Director, and he can give you more information on the plans. But it's for the shared use path on 7th Street.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote on this. Councilman Schuyler,
Aye.
Shaheen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
and Hughes. All ayes, this motion carries. Item number 3. Do we have a motion?
I'll
Yep.
make a motion to approve the sale of the surplus lots and have the mayor sign those papers.
And is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Hughes, second by Clay, to approve the sale of the surplus lots and have the mayor sign closing papers. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor and Council, we held a auction in this office Monday, the 9th. There were 4 buyers total for the 6 properties that the city of Winter was surplusing, and a total of $13,100 was received or will be received for this. The closing dates will all be before or on October 7th, scattered throughout with those 4 individuals as we submit this information over to the title company. They were free titles. They were all sold with the reversionary clause on them, so the deed will have the reversionary clause, and there is another paper that Mr. Drashik will be submitting to the county for those individual papers as well. The reversionary clause does go with any purchasers, so if one of the individuals who purchased from us on Monday were to sell it in 30 days, it still goes back to the original closing date. So there is a lot of information that goes along with those properties.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I don't know if the millions of people around the world are watching right now or not, but these are recorded. And I would just like to state that the reversionary clause was advertised, well advertised, documented, stated the date of the sale, and attached to all the paperwork that everybody signed. Clearly spells out everything pertaining to the purchase of these properties. So I hope they follow through and build, otherwise we will be getting them back.
Okay, very good.
It is a roll call on the next page.
On the next page, yep. This will require a roll call vote as well. Councilman Shaheen,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes, and Schuyler.
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you, and Troy Kruger thanks you the most for getting rid of these properties, that he doesn't have so much mowing to do. Item number 4, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 1084, an ordinance amending the street department 2024 budget.
And is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Motion by Clunt, second by Shaheen, to place on first reading ordinance 1084, and ordinance amending the street department 2024 budget. Is there any discussion? Chandra, I bet you have information for us.
Yes, this is the $48,000 that you signed a contract with DGR for design and topographical maps for the Monroe Street project and the grant that you applied for with that project. Otherwise, other questions should be directed to Mr. Kruger.
Okay, any technical questions have to go to Mr. Kruger. No questions? Okay, all in favor of adopting this ordinance to amend the street department 2024 budget? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. This motion carries. Very good, thank you. Item number 5, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion, put on first reading ordinance number 1085, an ordinance amending the fire department 2024 budget.
Motion by Miners, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Clunt. Any discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor and public, this is for a couple different things at the fire department. The main portion of it is for the repairs and maintenance on the sirens that we will be paying for. And then also, there was a ladder truck inspection that was not budgeted for, and that was, I believe, $1,700. So that is also included in there. There've been several batteries that have been purchased for the sirens, but all of that is included in the $7,000.
So a $7,000 addition to the 2024 budget. Very good.
And the
All-
truck did pass inspection.
I'm sorry, Mr.
And
Miners?
the truck did pass inspection.
Yep. So somebody, not just as skinny as Tim Miners, but anybody can go up on that ladder now that's a fireman. Rated safe. Okay. All in favor of adopting this, yep, say aye, and all opposed, say nay. Motion carries, even though they didn't let me read it. Okay, item number 6, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve change order number 2 to Downey Drilling for well repairs for an increase from the change order of number 1 of $11,148.
Do we have a second to this motion by Councilman Schuyler?
I'll second that.
Second by Clunt. To approve change order number 2 to Downey Drilling for well repairs for an increase from change order number 1 of $11,148. Any discussion, please?
Mr. Mayor, point of information from
Mr. Schuyler.
Kruger.
So, a typical rotation in our well inspection process is we do 2 wells each year, then we do a single well, then we go without a well. This was one of our 2-year, so we did well number 13, and we did well number 3, and we did well number 9, one in each field. In the inspection process of the wells, well number 9, the change order comes in. We had to replace all the sections of the suction pipe. We had a bad motor on well number 9, so we had to replace that motor. There was some few issues with the pump, and then this was the first year that it was offered to us, but they actually cameraed our wells, and so they do a process where they run the camera down, and they can visually see what condition that the well's in. And our sand screen on well number 9 was almost totally plugged. So we did a procedure on that to clear all the deposits and build up on that screen. So basically that's the change order in a nutshell. When you do a well inspection like that, you don't know what you're going to get into until you actually do the inspection. So these added costs are the motor, the replacement of all the suction pipe, and the treatment to the sand screen. So, any questions?
Did we get a before and after video or no?
We have a before video of both wells and the condition of the pipe and the sand screen, but while the crews are here, the water's still, after that treatment process, the well's still too cloudy. You're just not able to camera it and see anything to speak of, so yeah, I mean, they give you a pretty good guarantee that it's gonna clean the sand screen out.
Good.
So the inspection was budgeted for, but the unforeseen work was not.
No, we budget $35,000 every year for well maintenance, and this amount is over that $35,000.
Thank you, Mr. Kruger. Finance, do we have enough money to pay this?
It's not my budget, so as long as they manage their budget bottom line, they'll be okay.
Very good, okay. So we have a motion by Schuyler, second by Clunt. Any other questions or discussion to have? We'll have a roll call vote to approve change order number 2 to Downey Drilling for well repairs for an increase from change order number 1 of $11,148. Councilman Clay,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
Clunt,
Yes.
Hughes,
Aye.
Schuyler,
Aye.
and Shaheen.
Yes.
This motion carries. Thank you very much. Claims, do we have a motion?
Before I make a motion, do you want us to include, Chandra, the 23,000.
It's actually the full entire bill is already on there.
Okay, perfect. I'll make a motion to approve the claims as submitted.
Motion by Skylar to pay the claims. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Clint. Any discussion? Want to throw something out? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we have no executive sessions to go into. Oh, all opposed to paying the claims, say no. I didn't think anybody would. Very good. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
By Skylar, second. By Hughes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sounds unanimous to me. We're adjourned.